Hi, hi. How you doing, David?
Welcome. Doing well. How you doing,
Happy, what is it?
Thomas?
It's Wednesday? It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
Yeah. What is happening? What's new?
Life is good. Um, Surviving the market, except I'm all in on Anna. So it's interesting. I don't really like. I feel like I'm not as in tune with the vibes of the market as I used to be when I was invested in 100 different altcoins. Um, I'm all in, so I'm just like laser focused on the vision, and it
Surviving is
feels
kind
good.
of not optional, you know, like the default.
Yeah, it has to come first.
I know. I wonder what it is like. I think about it, and in fact, I worry about it. Something that's just always on, always on, always on, always moving, always moving. It seems like it would drive you nuts.
It
This
absolutely
feeling that
does.
if I didn't catch the tweet in the last 5 minutes, then I'm gonna miss the big thing.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, I don't have to imagine. I know. This is how I started my crypto journey. Is just investing in dozens of different altcoins, researching for thousands and thousands of hours, and it is a slog. Just a constant grind, constant FOMO, and constant fear of loss. It's just this fear-driven psychology where it's like I'm gonna miss the next big thing, or I'm gonna get rugged. And
Yeah.
yeah, there was rarely any in between.
Who needs that?
No, not me.
Goodness. Especially when like all the analysis in the world can't save you from predicting that like Binance will have a convenient technical outage. You know, there's nothing. That's the scary thing about this. I feel like I'm Alex Jones or something. We're like, it makes me angry. Um, the scary thing about this for me is nothing happened. You know, like my girlfriend's asking me like, "Whoa, I heard that crypto's exploding, melting down," and the first thing I'd say is, don't worry about it. It does it all the time. It's fine. It's good for it. But then she'd ask why, and hell if I know. I'm plugged in all the time. No idea why. Ordinarily, if like a stock goes down, it's probably because Anthropic just made their business obsolete. Like there's a reason, and you could have seen it coming. But with this, it's the mystery that makes it uneasy for me.
Exactly, and it's a mystery caused by opacity. I think something you and I have in common is we came into crypto wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, like, oh, future of finance, a new transparent, fair system, and of course, it's just evolved into the status quo 2.0. Um, Nobody knows what's going on behind the scenes besides the the big wigs in the smoke-filled back room, and we're all just we're prey at a predator's market.
Yeah. Yeah. The question, another question posed to me is like, wasn't crypto supposed to do things differently than traditional finance? And with the way these markets work, that as you said, how opaque they are. I think the answer is, in large, no. They're not really doing anything different. The difference is that it's worse. That's the difference. The it's that there's the same kind of shenanigans in the smoke-filled rooms, just more of it. It's just worse in a lot of ways. But there's crypto and there's crypto. There's things that are on chain and there's things that are off chain. Maybe that's one way to divide it. And it's like there's nothing crypto about in exchange with market makers, signing contracts and moving money around. We call that crypto. That has nothing to do with crypto. That's like some of these words are like this, where you'd say like curling is a sport and so is jujitsu. We use the same word for both of those. They have very little in common. Or darts is a sport. Yeah, the sort of things that get labeled if you compare Uniswap to Binance, it's a very different kind of paradigm. So
Yeah.
yeah, when talking about this stuff, I think it's important to be sensitive to that. You know, the things that people complain about have nothing to do with crypto at all. And that's exactly the problem. It's like there's black mold in the house. The house would be fine, were it not for that. And the point of having the house is so you don't have mold in it. If you wanted mold, you could go live in the woods.
Exactly. Like 99% of the problems with crypto are, like you indicated, it's just
Not
TradFi
actually a
pushed.
problem with crypto.
Exactly. It's TradFi, but on a blockchain. Like you
Yeah,
think,
it's just faster. It's
right?
24/7.
You think these developers minting themselves a billion tokens and then dumping on the market is a new thing? How do you think stocks work?
Yeah. They used to, for a long time, they actually outlawed stock buybacks. They were kind of a thing in the 30s or 40s in the United. Well, by they, I mean the United States. Um, they were outlawed for a long time, and then Reagan brought them back in the 80s. And the reason they were outlawed is because, drum roll, it was just a way to manipulate markets. And so they figured this out, and it might have been earlier than the 40s, come to think of it. They figured out, like, oh, this does not protect consumers. We should not allow buybacks because it's just ways for companies to fiddle with illiquid books and create inorganic price action. And yet here we are. The Occupy Wall Street founders, they must be rolling in their, well, not grave, I don't know, vegan juice bars.
Exactly that. Yeah, I think the big difference between TradFi and the modern state of the crypto industry is that there's just no robust regulatory frameworks in place. There's just less hoops to jump through. The the games and the extraction become so much easier and so much more appealing. And also because of anonymous culture. Like I think anonymous culture is great, but it's obviously abused by scammers, which is one of the reasons crypto has such a bad rep.
This is kind of like a guns don't kill people argument. That the disintermediation, the speed, the lack of checks and balances, that is the point. That's the feature. That's the gunpowder, which you can do amazing things with. You can have crypto kitties, if you remember those, which is like using gunpowder to make fireworks, or it's just fun. Or you can use it to scam more people faster than ever. Or you could use it to build things like Nirvana and Samsara that treat algorithmic transparency as the virtue in and of itself. You have these tools where you don't, like, the point is to get all the people out that make decisions, like you're squeezing, the last bit of toothpaste out of the tube, so that it can actually be fair. And now we have these tools in order to do that. Well, let's live up to that dream. I am emotional about this. Goodness.
As am I.
It gets to me, man. When Nirvana was first dreamt up years ago, there was another massive market crash, and I'm just a softie. I don't know. I haven't learned to be cynical about this. I just don't like it, and I want things to be better. It gives me a sense of urgency.
Right, me too. And like you said, it is this, like, upgrading the financial infrastructure to crypto is really like this raw power upgrade. It's not inherently better, but it has greater potential in both directions. So yeah, enough pessimism. I am optimistic. I am very optimistic about the future.
My goodness. Yeah, because again, there's crypto and there's crypto. There are tokens, and then there's a paradigm. I'm optimistic about the paradigm,
Yeah.
optimistic about what can be done with this, the kind of accessibility and universality and immediacy. Uh, Very optimistic with what you can do with this structure, with this tech, with the AVM, how that's going to do a 180 on the space. That really is the mission, isn't it? To like change the mood, change the reputation that crypto has, make it so that you can say with sincerity, like the water is fine. Come on in. You know, you're worried about being rugged. Well, you can't. You're worried about losing money. Well, there's a floor line. You're worried about being liquidated on leverage or credit or going underwater. Like how many people have gone underwater with their homes? Well, you can't go underwater with this. It can make crypto actually the like the utopia that it was hoping to be. It's had some successes. It needs to succeed in the realm of the thing that people seem to care most about, which is the value of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well said. And to piggyback on that, it's not just um, the next evolution of crypto, but this is something that actually makes finance better. It solves some of the biggest problems in finance that weren't possible to solve before crypto existed, which I find very exciting. The
Yeah.
vision I have for nirvana is so lofty that I don't dare to speak it, just because it's a far off vision. But um, I really believe the AVM is the structure that has a potential to change markets as we know it, not just change crypto, but change everything. It's the first financial system grounded in incorruptible truth that was not possible before smart contracts.
Preach. Brother. Yeah. Yeah. What Bitcoin did to the ledger, the AVM does to value. It's as simple as that. Bitcoin had one mission, which was how can you have incorruptible accounting? That's it. That's it. Incorruptible store of who has what, store of numbers. Just like here is a ledger, it cannot be tampered with. It's a very hard problem. And it's a very creative solution. And it is a solution. I mean, it's, to the best of my knowledge, it hasn't been tampered with yet. This is just second verse, slightly different than the first. Now let's apply that to something else. We have a storage system for numbers. Now let's have a storage system for values. They're related, but they're very different. And I think value they build on each other. They're both important. You don't want your tokens to be stolen from you. Thank you, blockchain ledgers, for solving that. But you also don't want your assets to disappear in value. It's kind of the same thing. Whether like one day you have 10,000 tokens in your wallet, now you have zero, or one day you have 10,000 tokens in your wallet and tomorrow they're worth zero. These are the two things that have to be solved for. And then you have actually different financial rails. You have something which could actually be a cryptocurrency, something that actually stores the value. We've stored the numbers. Now it's time to store the value. Yeah, we've been
Exactly.
talking a lot about this since Samsara got launched, and now how to streamline everything. There are features in the works. Some of you tuning in probably know them, to simplify, improve the Nirvana protocol, trim some of the fat, tune the way the app works, the user experience, and get it on the rails it needs to be in order to be permanently sustainable. and easily understandable. And in conjunction with that, there's a lot of work being done to just clean up everything with these front ends. Clean up everything with respect to narrowing in on the focus. What is actually going on here? It's a bit of a controversial take, but the AVM, the assured value machine, samsara, nirvana, etc., it's not so much about buying a thing with a price. That's kind of a red herring. What the assured value asset, an asset that, well, first of all, let's say what it is. It's something that has liquidity in itself. Liquidity is an inherent property of a token. What? Nothing else really has that. It's a different kind of thing entirely, where the token carries its own minimum redemption value inside of it. It carries its own liquidity inside of it. Unlike this separation, which has plagued finance for a long time, where you have things that have a price over here and then markets that give them a value over there, unified. It's not so much buying this thing. It's almost like buying doesn't even apply. Buying applies to engaging in stuff that does not contain its own market inside of it. It's more like joining or converting or depositing. It's like you're taking dollars and you're turning them into something else. It feels like a buy, but that's always been a bit of a tension or a friction, because as soon as people start thinking about buying, they're thinking about price, and then they're thinking like, well, you're saying the price can't go beneath this floor. Well, that's clearly wrong. Well, it's clearly on the wrong track of thinking. It's something else than a buy.
It's an upgrade.
Yeah, it's like an upgrade in evolution.
It's the same kind of value, but it's an upgrade in the structure. You have the same thing supporting its value, but you have limited downside risk, but now you have unlimited upside risk against that original piece of value.
Yeah. Years ago, we were looking for a name for this, and somebody floated, okay, you've got stable coins. We know what those are. Let's call it a super stable coin. It's like a stable coin with spiky yellow hair. It just has more powers to it. Because it really is that kind of conversion. And the same goes with how samsara has commodified the engine to extend to other assets. I never really think of it like I'm buying the NavSol token, as much as there's a price chart and it goes up and it goes down. If I stop and think about it, or just focus on what it's like to take my soul and turn it into NavSol, it doesn't feel like a buy. It feels like something else. Yeah, like an upgrade, like a conversion. And to your point about the goal for this, and one of the reasons why we're moving on making the app experience much more palatable, is honestly, all of the soul in the world should pass through this. That's the goal. Like we're not done until literally every single soul token has moved through this conversion belt, which again explains why it's not a buy, because it moves through it. You couldn't say, for instance, we should just take all the soul and buy this thing, because, well, that wouldn't work. There'd be no more soul. It's all spent. It's all gone. I mean, you need it to pay gas fees and have validators and things like that. But not so here, because you put the soul in, you get the super soul, the nav soul out, and then you can still unlock the liquidity and the credit. You can still draft soul right back out of the thing. And so the world keeps running. And then you can put that soul that you draft it out right back in and super sold that again and rinse and repeat and rinse and repeat. And there's still plenty to go around to make Solana function. There's still plenty to go around to use as a gas token. And it's become amplified. It's become upgraded. That is the value proposition. Same thing with ANA and dollars. ANA doesn't stop until all of the dollars have passed through the thing. All the, I don't know, how many dollars are there? 10 trillion? A lot? Yeah. I suppose the TAM of Nirvana is the bond market, because that's probably the TAM of on-chain stable coins. You're probably not going to find stable coins that aren't somehow tied to US treasuries. Yeah, it's a few trillion. We got room to grow.
You got some room, I'd say.
And then you have digital gold. You have an asset. It's not a stable coin. It's something different. It's something better. It's something speculative. It's like the digital equivalent of real estate. Real estate goes up and goes down year to year, but it tends to go in one direction, doesn't it? And like real estate, people are pretty comfy giving you loans on it. It's a really good store of value. That's what these AVAs are, is something that tends to go up. And loans, don't worry about it. The protocol just gives you a loan and there's no interest. Checkmate.
Exactly. But buying ANA is just upgrading your dollars. Like just look at the risk profile. The coverage is something like 85%. Like, what else has that kind of downside protection? Like blue chip stocks, like no, those can dip way more than 15%. A temporary dip in a liquid bond price, maybe, but then the upside is that of a micro cap altcoin that solves a deeply fundamental problem. It's upgraded dollars.
Yeah. Yeah, and so we've been working on refining the application, really focus on that. Refining it to focus on this proposition that literally everything should pass through this. Yeah, if you're holding SOL, if you're holding anything, and by holding it, I mean you're not trading it. I mean, you have it. You're probably always thinking of, like, where am I going to deploy it? How do I put this to work? You can lend it if you want, and earn a respectable 5% annual on it, which, I don't know, that doesn't really get me out of bed. And the risk of there being bad debt or bankruptcy or liquidation, I don't know. Never really found that convincing. Or you could, another way to look for yield is every now and again you see these things flare up. Like I could write covered calls or something like that and earn a bit of yield from people who are taking me up on the offer. Or I could try to be a market maker myself. I could DIY market making and provide liquidity to an AMM. Well, good luck with that. Not only does it rarely work, but it also is very capital intensive. You got to front the dollars also to make that happen. So your capital outlay is already doubled just to get your SOL off the ground. And then also, the thing about market making is if SOL goes up, everyone knows this now, you would have been better off just holding the SOL. The whole point of market making is to be directionally neutral. That's the archetype who engages in that activity. They are not bullish or bearish on anything. They have no conviction. They're just trying to stay neutral and take fees. I think that's one of the unspoken realities of market making. It's always been an odd fit. If you love your asset and you're long it, like, please do not market make. You realize that's for when you're neutral with something, not when you're bullish. So what else
Yeah,
is there? You know, but the
yeah,
AVM, but
yeah,
samsara.
exactly. If you're long, there's basically two options. You hold spot and you settle for those, limited gains that you'll get from spot, or you use leverage. And thing is, with leverage, you can still be directionally right, and just because the market's so volatile, you can still get liquidated and just get wrecked. There needs to
Yeah.
be some kind of middle way where you can be long and stay long, while amplifying your upside, and that's a NAP token. You can't get liquidated. Your downside against your asset is protected, and your upside gets multiplied as demand for the NAV token grows. The middle way.
Yeah, you hit another nerve for me, man. These goddamn liquidations. I got in a Twitter spat a while back because I just couldn't help myself. It's that joke of like, come to bed, honey. It was like, I can't. Somebody's wrong on the internet. I got to stay up and argue with an anonymous person because just these liquidation engines, they drive me up a wall. That there could be a blip in a pricing engine, like an Oracle could like miss a decimal place or something. There could be just a genuine error in a price feed, and then people lose cumulative $60 million in 5 minutes. We are grading these exchanges on a curve. It's beyond all else that kind of failure on their part can result in just that much damage to people who have real money on the line. Typically, it doesn't work like that in the real world. You have kill switches, safety checks, time waiting, things like that. The idea that there could be a scam wick, which then some naive engine designed by somebody whose first job was doing risk management at Hyperliquid creates this much chaos. Ugh, I don't like it. But leverage is great. Credit is great. That's what makes the world go round. Yeah, that was another impetus for the AVM design, which is let's keep the good thing, just get rid of liquidations. I'm singing an old song.
You're singing the right
Yeah.
song, though. Liquidations suck. No one likes them. They can easily be created through manipulation. And yeah, it's turned into a vicious tool to extract from people. And there's a reason why everyone's so feels some type of way about leverage. You either love it and you're addicted to it, or you're like, yeah, I don't touch leverage, bro. You shouldn't either. There's a reason for
You're
that.
catching me in a mood today, man. The way the markets have been, it's like don't get angry, get active, or in my case, do both. I have this deep love of crypto's principles. I really do. I fell in love with it,
Me too.
and I feel like that meme from The Godfather was like, "Look, they massacred my beautiful boy." It should just be better. I'd really like to see it be better. Actually, let's pull up this. Let's pull up a screen when we can, like show rather than tell the things that we're talking about. I was working on a demonstration last night to what spurred this on is Samsara's launched with rather neutral assets, Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, ZEC. They don't really have a face or a phone number attached to them. They're just assets. They're out there. But the next wave are going to be things that actually, there are custodians of them. There is stewardship. There are treasuries. This is common with tokens that go by the name of governance tokens or whatever. That it's some product created these things. Maybe they have some utility, maybe they don't. But the point is, there's a lot of them, and there's a lot of them on a vesting schedule in a treasury, and they're valuable. They're in demand. They've been around for a while. What do you do with all of those tokens that got printed at inception, essentially out of thin air? What do you do with them? One of the most common things that we've seen ever since Uniswap, I think, is give them away. It's called an airdrop. Just like, here's 10,000 of them. Here's 5,000 of them. Another form of the giveaway is incentive programs that you're using our app, you're doing something that we find valuable. We're going to subsidize your behavior by giving you some of these tokens. It's just it's like a constant subsidy spigot, right? The issue, which shows up in the price charts clear as a bell, is that if you give something away, it doesn't really have much value. If it just shows up in your pocket one day and you did nothing to get it, that can create, no surprise, a downward trend from all this dilution. It's just tokens are entering supply. And we've been kind of mired in this pattern for a while where people are airdropping tokens, giving away tokens, but all they're really doing is airdropping numbers. They're giving away quantities of things. Wouldn't it be nice if you could airdrop value instead? AJ, if you're listening, could we pull up the screen? What I mean is, giving away tokens it almost always results in the price going down. That's just a fact of life. That's dilution. In fact, that's what crypto was inspired to revolt against, was the bailouts, the money printing. We're saying we're tired of dilution. We want a system which doesn't do that. And it's kind of an ironic twist that we're stuck in it. But there's a way out of that original sin, and it's using the AVM as a way to not airdrop numbers, but airdrop, and I use that in quotes, value itself. You can airdrop value to your user base for your own token. How? Why am I burying the lead so much? Let's just pick a random project, Bonk. Let's say Bonk has a treasury that they're sitting on of $10 million of Bonk tokens. I don't know, random number. And what do you do with them? You can give them away, or you can use those Bonk tokens to convert, to deposit, to upgrade into NAV Bonk through Samsara. Well, what happens then? When you take Bonk and you convert it into NAV Bonk, the conversion into the AVA makes the value of the AVA go up. It's worth more Bonk. It was worth 1, now it's worth 2, now it's worth 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. From their point of view, they're just doing what they always do, which is there's this token in a reserve, we're pushing it out. It's setting sail, it's going out into the world. Rather than just giving it directly to people, push it into Samsara, convert it into an AVA. It's the same thing from their accounting. Bonk is being emitted, the token is being gifted, airdropped, but the result of the airdrop is value is added. When it goes into Samsara, the value of the NAV token, of the derivative, goes up, and whoever was holding those NAV tokens is seeing their profit go up. The result of the airdrop is that the holders of NavBonk profit. It's crazy. So the tokens go in there, the price goes up, and value was created. Value was added. It's real profit that then can be sold, traded, held inside Samsara itself by the holders. There's no rush to sell it. There's something else that you can do with it. Maybe you are long this bonk token, and as it's been flowing into Samsara, guess what also has been happening? The floor has been rising because of that. There's just more bonk liquidity. The floor goes up. Well, that means you can borrow more. So you're getting access to these bonk tokens through this non-liquidatable zero interest line of credit. And you still have the AVA tokens. You still have NavBonk all the while. What I'm driving at is that as we're talking to teams who have these treasuries and they have these emission programs or these buyback programs, you think you're in a rock and a hard place. Well, here's a way out. You can still have the same kind of incentive programs. You can still have incentives, but if you use this system, it also alleviates a pernicious problem in crypto, like the airdrop being the cause of a down only kind of chart. In this case, airdrops result in an up only chart. It turns it upside down. Anyway, last night, kind of in preparation for explaining this to people, I thought, you know what, I'll try to make a demo that just shows rather than tells what's going on. This is a rough little experiment. It might drive the point. So it's running. It's running. This is our friend, the floor. This is the price. There they go. Look at them go. We have 3 different people set to auto buy. I'll turn off player A, so he's not buying. Now player B and player C are buying. Price is going up. Floor is going up. That's what Nirvana does. That's what Samsara does. You could think of it in terms of dollars or bonk tokens or soul tokens. It matters not. Just as they buy, the floor goes up. Oh, goodness, I missed it. It already happened. Let's look at player B, who's been buying. He has an unrealized profit of $1,000. That means that if he sold everything, if he redeemed his let's just call this ANA, if he redeemed his ANA, he would net this much. Why is he in profit? Well, it's because player C is also buying. The price is going up. So if he were to sell everything back, that's how much he would make. That this has a floor, right? So yes, you have $2,000 in paper profit. Let me pause this. But you also have this other direction, which is, what's your paper loss? No one talks about paper losses. It's not really a concept anyone thinks about. Because it's not really a thing, is it? In the case of Nirvana and Samsara, you have a maximum possible loss. It's almost like a realized loss in the sense that it's guaranteed in the other direction. That in the worst case, player B could lose $800, which is a remarkably small percentage of how much he's spent. So he's spent $13,300. The most he could lose is $800. He's made this much in profit. Not bad. And this number is how much is secured by the NAV, by the floor. It's the guaranteed value. It's the secured value. This number is just this one minus that one. That's saying, like, yes, I have this much value. How much of it is guaranteed by the protocol itself? How much would I lose in the worst possible case? if literally everybody sold off in the same second, what would I retain? I would retain $12,564 of my $13,000 spend. So much we know. But this is what I want to point out, is that if the NAV rises higher than your cost basis, which happens all the time, it's happened to virtually anybody who got in early with samsara, and it happened to tons of people with nirvana, and it will continue happening as the floor continues to rise. If the floor is higher than your cost basis, you have permanent profit. This is saying no matter what happens, if everyone were to sell back, you're still in profit. They said WAGMI a few years ago. I think this is actually what WAGMI looks like. And then on top of that, that you can borrow, or maybe it's, I don't like the word borrow because it connotes interest and obligations and having lenders and things like that. Let's just call it like unlocking. You can always withdraw out the floor value if you want as a line of credit. And you could think of it like you're recuperating your principal. So this person spent $13,369, and now he just recuperated $12,500 back out. He has 94% of his initial expenditure in his pocket while still having all this gross value riding on Ana. It's even weirder here when the floor goes above your entry price, because I have now recuperated more capital than I've spent. I spent $2,800, and now I have $3,000 realized in my pocket, while also still holding all the Ana. That's what this system does. And so when we talk to companies that have their treasuries to manage, the proposition is simple. You're sitting on $100 million of your own token. Why are you sitting on it? Because you don't know what to do with it. If you knew what to do with it, you wouldn't be sitting on it. Here's something where you can put it in, upgrade it. It raises the floor for everybody and yourself. If you need your token back in order to fund operations, well, that's what the line of credit is for. You can borrow it. So it's still there. And in fact, that's how we operate our operations, where 50% of the revenue from samsara is just used to buy Ana. We don't sell it. It's not even a buyback because it was never diluted. There's no buying back of it. We just buy it. And, if we have to pay an auditor to audit the program, you can just borrow some dollars out and pay the auditor with it. Meanwhile, you haven't moved the price of Ana at all. You haven't sold one Ana. You just have the credit that you can use. Oh, yeah, I'm going to polish this and put it out. This is just a feverish experiment last night. And thinking to myself, what are y'all waiting for? Teams, like, you see that this has the upside, and it's not like providing liquidity where you can lose, and it's not like lending where people can take it and go in short, and it's not like doing deals with market makers. And on top of this, if you were to use this for your incentive program, it raises all ships. And one of the things you're concerned about with emissions is it dilutes the supply. Well, this becomes a black hole that holds it. Also, the tokens go into the AVA's liquidity, and there they reside.
Yeah, I absolutely love this tool, and I love this model for teams. Like you said, teams are between a rock and a hard place when it comes to treasury management. They basically have three options. They can sell it, dumping on their holders. They can give it away, which dilutes their holders, or they can light their money on fire. All of those options suck. And this is a fourth option. And by converting your treasury to NAV tokens, you're creating a new market pump. You're creating new momentum. And the only way to get into that new pump that you're creating is to buy your token and convert it to your NAV token. And so it's a new reason to hold. It's a new narrative, and it's hyper efficient. It absorbs the supply while simultaneously giving you the optionality because of the credit line. You still have access. If you want to have a bonfire to hype up the community, you can still do that. You can borrow and burn. If you want to give away some tokens for an incentive, you can borrow tokens and do that. So you get to have your cake and eat it too, while creating a new exciting pump for your community.
That's the magic of derivatives, man.
Speaking of
so
magic,
we are.
this whole presentation, I felt like you were presenting a magic trick to me.
I'm going to add a toggle to this to show the liquidity curve, because you know what it's like to tell somebody this, and they're like okay, you're not actually pulling rabbits out of a hat. What's the catch? And then when you show them like how the liquidity, how it works, like in 5 minutes, they're like, oh my God, not only is this so simple that I get it, but I'm also upset that nobody's done this before. And I also am ambitious that this changes everything.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, adding the price curve, because like you said, that is how it works. And then this side is how it plays out. And once you understand how it plays out and how it works, this becomes wildly attractive.
Yeah, Nirvana's whole proposition was you like algorithms, right? You like crypto. Yeah. Okay. You like protocol-owned liquidity. You remember that idea? We thought that was a good idea. How about the protocol owns all of the liquidity? How about we just go all the way? It's usually the right thing to do when something is a good idea. Just stick to it. Algorithms, protocol owns the liquidity. That's it. Put those two things together, you've got the AVM. And what happens when a protocol owns all the liquidity? Well, it can allocate it. And it can allocate it to create a buy wall. A buy wall which is sufficiently large to buy back every single token at a price that the protocol knows. And how does the protocol know this? Because, see above, it owns all of the liquidity. It knows how many tokens exist, how much money it has. It can guarantee the buy wall. It's just simple arithmetic. So we are taking a sledgehammer to the app right now. For instance, if you're familiar with Nirvana, there's two different ways to draw credit. One is using a NERV token. Another is using, you can just borrow dollars themselves. Why is there a NERV token? Please don't ask me. It's going away. And part of unifying that experience is to get to something kind of like this, which is, it's not about the price. It's about me. It's about my portfolio. It's about what I have, how it's deposited, and what that means for my piggy bank, my line of credit. Many, many, many users of Samsara and Nirvana are in this position where they have permanent profit. They have recuperated more money than they've put into it. So they've realized their profit. Lots of them are in that position, and I don't think they know it, because the apps are not foregrounding that fact. What we're working on is seeing this shift into what it is supposed to be, which is, this is about you and your wealth. This is not a meme coin trading platform where you're just scalping 5-minute movements on a price chart and you're checking your phone every 10 minutes. It's about you and your wealth. It's about getting to a place like this. Oh, you lost it. Who's there? There we go. So getting to a place like this where you have achieved nirvana. You have actually put more money in your pocket than you put in, and you still have all of your gross assets. It's like you still have your house, and your home equity line of credit has exceeded the value of the house. Come on.
Yeah, one of the simplest ways I can describe Anna is that it's an uncapped growth asset with a built-in savings account that grows automatically and can never shrink. And yeah, we want to make it feel like that.
And it can grow beyond your initial deposit.
Exactly.
Yeah. As if your HELOC, gave you more money than your house is worth, and you never sold your house. That does happen. If you buy a house in a boom market, I bought it for $100,000, and then Oprah tweeted that this random town in Ohio is the next great place, and my house is worth $1 million. Yeah, that happens. So you can borrow $700,000, but your initial investment was $100,000. That just doesn't happen in crypto. That's the thing. Crypto needs something like that, like a store of wealth, someplace where you can just park money and let it grow. I really want to alleviate the sense of anxiety that the space causes for people. I want to get past like coin market cap being everyone's homepage, where like first thing you do in the morning is you check 30 price charts because they changed every 6 hours. That's no way to live, and that's not what this sector was supposed to be. That's not what it's about. Satoshi's vision wasn't like let's I dream of a world where 20 price charts is the first thing you check in the morning and the last thing you look at when you go to bed at night. That's what we're living in right now. It's terrible. And that's all people know about crypto. Really,
Yeah.
really like to see the paradigm change. Something
Yeah,
like this. Just how has my
it goes
wealth grown?
it goes back to how we started this conversation. Like being a crypto investor is such a grind, constantly between FOMO and fear of loss, checking charts neurotically, checking crypto Twitter nonstop, trying to find the next play, trying to get out of tokens before they crash. It's a nightmare. And what I want people to feel when they come to Nirvana is just relief. I finally found the thing where I cannot get wrecked, but I don't have to be afraid of missing out because my upside is uncapped. I get
Yeah.
to have my cake and eat it too.
And we've heard that from users when people first decide to take the plunge, and they start just dipping their toes in for the first time. I've heard this time and time again. I don't know about you, but they're like, I didn't know I could feel like this. This is great. I check the price chart once a week. I find myself not caring, and it's very relieving. I can't remember the
Yeah.
last time that I checked my like retirement savings account. I might do it like once every 6 months because I like remember that it's there. I'm like, oh yeah, it's still there. It went up 5%. Cool. See you again in 6 months.
Exactly. It's just
Yeah.
it's a better way of life. It's a better way to save, better way to invest. And I think that's why Nirvana is so sticky. Like when somebody does come into the community, like their conviction is it does nothing but grow. And I think most of the people here, just from what I can gather, are here for life. They're not going anywhere. Why would you?
Yeah. There's some statistic about like how infrequently people change banks in their life. Like the average time somebody's at a bank is like measured in decades. Because it's there. It works. Like fine. There's no need to keep like looking for the next best thing. And that's going back to what we were talking about. That's the goal of samsara, is to be the bank. I use that word advisedly, for Sol, or for Bitcoin, or for ETH. It's just the place where you park it. You got $100,000 of Bitcoin burning a hole in your pocket, upgrade it. Put it in here, ain't going anywhere. And when you want it back again, you can do a redemption, or you can just draw on your line of credit. You can just unlock it. You're fine. No lock-in. And this is where we're heading with improvements, designs with the app. I mean, what we're seeing on the screen is pretty similar to some of the things that you have been working on with the designers also, which is let's clean this up. It is not an exotic DeFi whirligig. This is a back end for like institutional wealth, and it should feel like that when you come to it. Is just not a marketplace among marketplaces. It is where you go to store it, and where everyone goes to store everything, and then they can go on their merry way and use their soul.
Yeah.
Our RT had floated. We talked about strategies, how people use this. One of the common strategies that we want to optimize for is that this is there's this feeling of like, let your winnings, when you go to the casino, use your winnings to keep gambling, protect your principal. That's just like a policy you set for yourself. Anyway, this could be your soul wallet, where your soul is just in here. Next week you realize, like, oh, the floor went up another 5%. So now I have 5% more credit that I can draft off of, or the nav soul amplified in value. Like it was worth 10 soul yesterday, and now it's worth 12 soul. I have earnings. Let me just use that. Will I keep my principal protected? Sorry, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, that's why I'm so excited. My role is transforming from chief evangelist to head of product,
Yes.
um, because I can just obsess over this and make this um, as beautiful as an experience as possible. Make the value proposition crystal clear, make it feel nice and cozy, and uh, just optimize every touch point of our users to nirvana, so that they just fall in love with it. It's a
Yep.
new form of banking, new form of investing that people love. That's the vision.
Yeah, to start feeling more like a conventional, traditional place to park your wealth,
Yeah,
like your brokerage account, like your retirement account.
yeah,
Yeah,
but better, much better.
but better. Still crypto. Yeah, yeah. The future is bright. So all of this is weaving together right now with the new features that are going into Nirvana, simplifications with Samsara. It's been a very successful launch in the first month. Kind of just a plethora of valuable feedback. And now we're in the midst of another push to take all that feedback, synthesize it, harmonize it with the features, and continue upgrading this with the mission in mind that everything should go through this. Everything. I
Yeah,
mean, not only that, but you should be able to, and talking to some people that can help with this, you should just be able to buy with a credit card. It's 2026, last time I checked. You should be able to just, here's Anna, come and buy it. It doesn't need to feel like like an exotic Solana product. Yeah, and I'm really grateful for your help in moving it toward that direction.
it's a joy. And yeah, before I even joined the nirvana.
Oh, I wasn't sure if that was me. Yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe the gods of live streams are trying to say something, and this is a nice art. Oh, welcome back.
I'm back. um, yeah. Yeah, we'll use that as a cue to wrap up. But yeah,
Yeah, that's
even
great.
I was just saying, even before I worked at Nirvana, I very quickly became obsessed. I saw the vision. I saw how this has the potential to transform finance, and uh, now I can just focus on that all the time and
Yeah.
realize that vision, make people feel it.
You know what we're trying to do is to make crypto more crypto and also less crypto. Crypto with a capital C and less a crypto with a lowercase c. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. It's like a capital L liberalism versus lower L liberalism.
mhm,
You know, the crypto has the same thing going on where there's the sometimes it's the conservative party which is the most liberal with a capital L
mhm.
in politics, and sometimes it's the liberal party which is the least liberal with a capital L, and sometimes they switch. You know, they just kind of circle each other on that. Point is, crypto with a capital C is a thing that we can all agree on. And what we're working on here is in line with that. It's a form of crypto conservatism. Like, let's go back to the roots and preserve the institution. It's not crypto progressivism, which is let's keep like going crazy and deregulating and doing zany things. And it's the progressive wing in crypto has gone a little bonkers. And they have been chipping away slowly and steadily at the whole point of this sector until it barely even resembles itself anymore. Oh, yeah. More crypto, less crypto is where we're taking this product. Another way that you're taking this to be less crypto is just less like number salad, you know, with the app, where you like show up on the app and it's like you need to have 10,000 hours in World of Warcraft to feel comfortable looking at this homepage. It is like, no, thank you. That's really
Yeah,
not how this stuff should be designed, packaged, and presented.
totally
It's not a
agree. Yeah.
game. It's not a game. People design apps like it's a game. It's not. Money is not a game.
One of my self-appointed KPIs is if my mom cannot use this app, I'm not doing it right. It's not where it needs to be.
Yeah. Yeah. It should be simpler.
Mhm.
It should be simpler. That's the point, is that it's simpler.
Yep.
The point of Bitcoin is it's simple. I send you a Bitcoin, you get the Bitcoin. How does ACH work? Tell me.
I don't have a clue.
Me neither. And how is it different than Swift? I don't know. You know, how many different desks and computer terminals does it pass through before it gets approved? You know, and if it doesn't get approved, why? Why wasn't it? Why did my ACH transfer not go through? Good luck figuring that out. Yeah, the point of crypto is it's simple. Like, I just send the thing from A to B. The point in Nirvana is it's simple. You just upgrade the dollar, and there's the floor, there's the price, there's the liquidity, there's everything you need to know. There's your line of credit. No hidden contraptions. It's all right there. There's nothing is hidden, and the simplicity is what gives it all its power.
Yes, indeed.
Well, okay. Good vibe check. Yeah. And
Yeah.
this last week in the markets have really set my brain boiling, clearly. Better days coming.
Yeah. The better days coming indeed. Yeah. Despite the state of the market, I have never been more excited and optimistic about Nirvana, about where we're going, and so grateful to be here every day.
Same, man. It really is a dream to be able to be like every day, wake up and be able to work on something that, you know, matters. And every now and again, there's a week that really puts the urgency right under your nose about why this matters. Yeah.
Exactly. It's
Looking
times like
forward to
these that
what.
remind us why ANA exists.
Yeah.
If markets were up
Yeah.
only, we wouldn't need it.
I know. It's kind of all you need. Let
Yeah.
gas tokens be gas tokens. Let assets be assets.
Yes,
We'll get
indeed.
there. And we're
Oh
getting
yeah.
there quickly.
Oh yeah.
Very good to see you. Have a lovely afternoon, everybody.
Likewise, my friend. Thank you, guys.